Our health journey should start with our metabolic code. Our metabolism is basically all of the physical and chemical processes that happen in our body. They happen all the time, 24/7, all the time. There's no rest or switch off button for these processes. Our metabolism includes catabolic processes, so this includes anything that's breaking down tissue or breaking down energy or nutrition to obviously help the body continue along these processes that we need. And then obviously we have anabolic processes as well, which is tissue building or growth. All of this collection of processes that happen in the body build up to create our metabolism and how well that functions on a daily basis. The endocrine systems are the masters of our metabolism. They basically direct activities within the body by releasing chemical messengers, and these are called hormones. We have more than 50 hormones that just regulate our mood, general metabolism, sexual function, as well as any growth of new tissue, fighting off illnesses, things like this. The main players in the endocrine system are the thyroid, adrenals, pancreas, liver, and intestines. So there's 5 of them, right? However, there is some other systems and organs that help the endocrine system as well. I'm not going to go into those too much because it starts to get very complicated, and we then start to deal with how the brain functions and stuff like that. So recently I posted a photo of Michaela and how well she's done over 6 weeks. I mean, all credit to her because she is stuck to and adhere to everything I've asked her to do to the T. Like, she smashes her macros, gets her training in, and just generally sticks everything that we're trying to achieve. However, how was I able to help her lose that amount of weight that quickly? Simply because I can put her through my metabolism assessment, find out what the issue is in terms of her underlying systems, and then just address those systems first before I try to make her do anything exciting within training. I mean, her training's been fairly simple. There hasn't been anything crazy in it. Our main focus has been developing her metabolism and addressing none of the issues that have come up. Myself, I basically got into metabolic function through my mentor about 2.5, maybe 3 years ago, when I had some severe adrenal fatigue. It wasn't a great time for me in terms of my energy levels, training, just how I function on a daily basis. I constantly had headaches. My energy level was up and down all day. I could wake up great and then I'll be crashing in 2 hours. Poor mental focus. I couldn't focus on anything for more than 20 minutes. I couldn't read for more than 10 minutes. I had constant headaches. Anytime I tried to go on a computer and do programming or any type of creative activity, I would just get a headache. I'd end up having to put ice packs on my head, and it was really quite bad. So I seek some help from my mentor at the time, and we did some blood tests. So obviously, doing a blood test is a more objective way of figuring out what's going on with your endocrine system and your metabolism. I personally use a subjective test. So with his help, I was able to figure out what the exact problem was, and it was my adrenals. One of the main two key areas that we addressed was removing coffee, so overstimulant, and it was just fatiguing my adrenals, but also just being proactive about my stress reduction. For some time I had to reduce my training stimulus because exercise is a stress in itself. So if you're fatigued, piling on more training is not going to help the situation. Remember, the goal for myself and the goal I have for all of our clients is optimal performance. So we have to think about that mentally, physically, and holistically. How can we optimize the client or myself's performance from a mental aspect, but also a physical aspect, and also from how we feel every day? How did I create the assessment? Well, I didn't create it. It already exists. I acquired the knowledge, right? I can't exactly tell you who I got it from because that's going to give away my USP, but it is a doctor. He has many initials after his name. I'm just going to read this thing here. So he's an internationally recognized clinical pharmacist, author, board certified clinical nutritionist, a thought leader in drug nutrient depletion issues. He has published 4 books, 3 databases in his area alone. And as such, he has over 35 years experience integrating natural and integrative therapies into various medical and business models. I mean, the guy's amazing, written many books and whatnot. He also does the metabolic assessment himself, and he has different layers to it. Overall, metabolism is quite complicated, so you have to first understand how everything works and how everything affects each other's system before you can read the assessment and try to get something out of it. For most people, if they looked at the questionnaire, it wouldn't mean anything to them, but for someone like myself who's actually acquired the knowledge, when I read the assessment, I can see how things interlink and what the solution may be going forwards. So definitely if you want to, or you're a person who wants to improve your energy levels, improve your cognitive function, your digestion, productivity and prosperity, and then on top of that you want to excel in your training, then starting with how your metabolic function is the key area to start. Most people just start with diet and, oh, we're going to do these exercises, but none of that really is going to make a huge amount of difference unless you figure out what the underlying problems are or find out any kinks in your armor. Basically, doing the assessment is like taking a car for MOT, right? And then you figure out what the issue is, and then you can go, okay, we might need to adjust this, or there's a problem. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly show you what the questionnaire looks like. But this is generally what the questionnaire begins like. So it's about 11 pages. Obviously, when I read through it, it's one long page, but when a client or someone fills it out, it opens up as 11 pages. So we go through some general daily questions, just energy levels on sleep, daily habits, how to eat, current exercise setup, goal setting, and then we get to the meat of the problem. So we start with looking at the pancreas function, and then there's a load of questions there. So obviously looking at it yourself, it's just numbers. It doesn't mean much to you, but for me, when I go through it, I'm getting clear indicators what the problem might be. So after pancreas, we go to thyroid, we assess the thyroid. Remember, this is just subjective, so it's entirely on how the person feels and what symptoms they're showing, right? And then we go to adrenal function, so there's a load of questions there. Next up into liver function, and finishing with the intestinal health. And obviously there's a few questions at the bottom. So I said the test is subjective, but for example, if someone's score is very, very high on, say, adrenal function, then it's clear sign that they have adrenal fatigue. And then me understanding what each question will mean going forward, I can say, okay, cool, there may be these key indicators that we need to work on to go forward to improve the adrenals. Generally, overall, a lot of the questionnaires I've done, and from going through it and obviously acquiring the knowledge, if 4 out of 5 systems are in disarray or have an issue, normally the liver is functioning quite well. And what that means is once we start to nourish the endocrine systems, reduce stress and some other things, then the liver will help detoxify the body quite quickly. If there's a person who's done a questionnaire with me, like the most recent person, and the liver is not functioning very well, then we have a big issue because the body's actually struggling to detoxify itself. So anyway, hope you enjoyed me talking. Haven't done that for a little while on the camera. If you are interested in training with me or coaching with me, then give me a DM or a message or something. Going forward, I will only be doing online clients. I'm actually now full for one-to-one, and I don't plan on taking any more people on one-to-one. So I'll simply be doing this online. And that being said, I've been online for over 4 years, so got plenty of experience with training people from a distance. So there shouldn't be any issues with that at all.